Congratulations on your film. Uh, Tell us a little bit about your film and what is it about? What message does it give?
So the name of the film is Thousand Rupee Note. That's the English title. The original title in Marathi is Ek Hazarachi Note. And the film is about a poor old woman in central India who receives a few thousand rupees as an inducement from this local politician to go vote for him. And on getting the money, basically she goes to the nearby town to go buy some clothes, some gifts for her neighbors, but things kind of don't go as she had planned, and basically things start unfolding, and that's what the main movie is about.
Cool, cool. So I did get to watch the movie, last night, and I really loved it. It's a wonderful story told in very human way, and brings out a lot of problems. Unfortunately, there are in the country as well, and a lot of human issues as well. But what was your thought process in terms of, were you consciously trying to put all those messages in, like poverty and political corruption and police corruption and all those things, or was it just a narrative for you and these were all fillers? Like what was?
Well, I mean, the story it's mainly focusing on this old woman, who, in my opinion, is a very good resemblance to modern Indian rural society, which is basically very passive, and they're just waiting for something or someone else to come around and kind of influence their life and make their lives better. So that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to explore through the film. But I wanted to just make sure that I was not just basically making a social issue film, but I wanted to make an entertaining film where the audience can travel with the characters as we are experiencing their life with them, instead of just being observant enough, basically.
Right. That sounds cool. And I think it comes off while watching the film as well. Is it inspired by any, like, how did you get the idea? Any real stories you had heard, found out, read, or was it a pure, imagination?
I mean, basically the film it's written by Shrikant Bojewar, who is a resident editor of a major newspaper in India called Maharashtra Times. So over the years, he's done a lot of reporting, and for the last many years, he's been writing a weekly feature column where he basically writes fiction stories. But they're very much rooted in the current milieu, the current Indian society. So he had written a short story, I think it was back in 2010 or 11, about an old woman basically getting some money as an inducement, as a bribe to go vote for this politician that just basically turns her life upside down. So I'd read the story. Shrikant and I were already working on a few other screenplays. So he suggested this story to me, and when I read the story, I really immediately connected to the material, because this was basically corruption at its most basic level. And it really excited me, and I thought, okay, there's something here that we can develop into a full feature-length film. So we started working on the material together and went through a few different drafts. But the starting point of the film and the ending point of the film were always the same. So it was basically just tracking the journey of the characters and see how they were influencing each other's lives as the film went along. And that's mainly the crux of the story, and it really inspired me to create a narrative which focused on a passive character and a female character, which we normally don't see as a lead character in film.
Right. One question while watching the film, although there are several, but one: why did she not take the 50 rupees? Because she already had the fare, or?
Well, it's the ending of the film, so I don't really want to say much. But the woman realizes as the story goes on that unwanted money has caused trouble for her and her good friend. So why bother with it? And it wasn't hers, so she didn't want to take it anymore. She didn't feel charitable. She didn't want to take charity from someone.
Makes sense. And another thing about the film, I mean, what do you think as a filmmaker and as an American filmmaker, an international filmmaker, what is in the story for international audience or American audience? Why should they care to watch it? What would be your message?
I mean, I think the thing is that even though the characters and the setting of the film is very specific, it is basically set in Vidarbha region of Maharashtra, which is in central India, but the characters and their emotions are very universal. So the film is mainly about a character who unexpectedly gets a lot of wealth in her life, and how that wealth and all the people around her basically relate to her in that moment once she has come in some money in her hands. So I think the emotions of greed from some of the characters, the emotions of basically putting on a face despite a lot of tragedy, and finding small pleasures in life. I think that is one of the reasons the film has been connecting with the audiences, because the film released in India 2 years ago. And since then, we've been traveling to a lot of different film festivals, screening at universities, at schools. But one of the things that I've noticed is that audiences from all strata of society are connecting with the film because they connect with the emotions that the characters represent. So that's one of the reasons I think American audiences would enjoy. And we've been playing the film at a few festivals in the US for about 1.5 years. And the film seems to resonate with the audiences here. Plus, they get to travel to a region of the world which normally is not depicted really on screen.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing the information.